The S.A. Thompson House was built by Sven Amandus Thompson, born Sven Torbjörnsson, in Norway in 1864. He changed his name to Thompson as the family first moved to Minnesota and then to Stanwood. He was a successful merchant and built this gracious home in the colonial revival style around the turn of the century. His general store was on the adjoining lot to the south. In the fall of 2001, shortly after 9/11, my wife Yona and I drove by this property for sale as we were returning from a trip all the way down the coast from Camano Island to Tijuana to see how artists were getting along. We had returned to America from Israel several years before. The old carriage house was falling apart, so Dan Nelson of Designs Northwest designed a ceramic studio and a separate kiln room inspired by the shape of the old outbuilding. Students arrived the day the construction was finished. We also remodeled the house itself, stripping down to the original fir floor, the planks extending the entire length of the room. We hang paintings from the original picture frame molding as they did more than 100 years ago. And this is the dining room. The molding that you see above the piano and on the other side of the room was plate molding where they displayed decorative plates. This is the south wing, which was added a little bit after the original building was built, and it serves as my office and was my studio. In July of 2019, a faulty installation of a new kiln caused a fire in the kiln room. Fortunately, we were able to keep it from spreading to the ceramic studio and the house with a garden hose until the fire department speedily arrived. We later learned that neighbors had been spraying water on the back of our home as well. Fortunately, our insurance allowed us to replace the kiln room and add a small studio, also designed by Dan Nelson. My name is Chaim Betzalel, and I've been reading from a script, but I'm going to introduce my wife Yona, and she is going to give the conclusion of this video.
I would just like everyone to know that even though we are on the other side of the world, having been quarantined in Israel when we took our trip last February after the fire that we had, we came here with the idea of coming back in 2 months. Instead, here it is 9 months later, 9 months later, and we are quarantined doing a lot of art. Now, we had the privilege of being able to buy Stanwood House in 2001 and 2. And this was right after 9/11. And we decided that it was more important for us to stay near our children who were in the States than to come back here to Israel. So we stayed a good 20 years building up Stanwood, being on the Mother's Day tour and Camano. And then it turned out that this building that we could purchase also built us up. As much as we were building it up, it built us up. So we're very grateful that we've been given the assignment and the privilege of being in the center of town celebrating art. And there had been another artist in Stanwood House before us named Mrs. Truesdale, who had also been an art teacher and art advocate. So we were kind of like following in her footsteps, not knowing we were. But we had people that visited us that had taken classes from her and had been even her children. So we got clued in that we weren't the first ones to do this. Never mind, here we are in this wonderful, wonderful town with this wonderful house. And we'll be back as soon as we can. Meanwhile, my daughter's managing it.
And we promised before we left that when the construction was finished, that we would have an open house. And we were expecting to have that when we came back, but we will announce it when we do come back. Thank you very much.